Here are my 5 favorite cards to build a deck around. Hello and welcome to Nelson All Over Cards. My name is Nelson and today we're taking a look at 5 cards that I like to construct a deck around. These are going to be the cornerstones of the deck. The overall strategy revolves around these cards. We're going to go through every single one of the aspects plus basic. I'm going to call out my favorite card. Now, while I am doing this, I want you to be thinking about what your favorite card to build a deck around is, and let me know in the comments. And if you have a deck, share it. Alrighty, so we're gonna just dive in. We're gonna start out with Aggression. Now, Aggression has a lot of really cool ways to build around. We have cards like Hone Technique, which is going to increase some of that damage output. Really good, really fun strategy, but my favorite is actually Boot Camp. I really like Boot Camp. It feels like I'm actually commanding an army. Boot Camp is a 3-cost support that gives all of your allies +1 attack. So now you can run in, you can try and manage the thwarting with either your hero or your kit and flood that field with allies. If you combine it with Avengers Tower or other ways to increase your ally limit, then you are just going to get so much value out of Boot Camp. I have such fun times, both thematically speaking as well as just throwing damage. It's a fun card. It feels like you are, playing into Aggression a little bit differently. And I just have a ton of fun beefing up my allies and running Boot Camp. Alrighty, Justice. Justice is our next aspect. I don't think that Justice is probably on the lower end of the aspects that I enjoy. I typically like most every other aspect more. Now that used to be Leadership, but it's flipped. I think Justice, and this may just be because it's new, but Float Like a Butterfly is so cool. Float Like a Butterfly, I realize, is pretty much the exact same thing as Boot Camp now that I'm saying it, but Float Like a Butterfly is an upgrade that says whenever a character you control attacks a confused enemy, increase the damage dealt by 1. This is so freaking cool, especially now that we have so much access to Confuse. In Justice, we have Sonic Rifles, Concussive Blows, we have Professor X in Basic, and then a lot of our heroes are now coming with Confuse inside their kit, so we can make use of this. Then we can flip down, trigger all of our good stuff, because that villain is confused, and we can flip up and confuse again, and then just go at. Again, I guess it works really, really well with a lot of allies or multi-target attacks. So if you're looking at Gambit or Miss Marvel, cards that have multiple instances of damage, each one of those is iterated up by 1. And so you can just get a lot of damage out of an already pretty good strategy of confusing the villain. This helps put that damage output. I really am enjoying Float Like a Butterfly in Justice, and that may just be because it's new, but here we are. In Leadership. Now, Leadership was actually the hardest one for me to pick a card for, and that's because I think that Leadership is just kind of the ally aspect, and so I didn't want to really pick an ally. If I was kind of thinking about it like Iron Man and kind of the Voltron way to play Leadership. That could be a option, but I did settle on To Me My X-Men. To Me My X-Men is a 1-cost event that says that when you can search the top 5 cards of your deck for an X-Men ally, put it into play, and then at the end of the phase, if it's still in play, you add it to your hand. This allows you to pop some of these really strong X-Men allies in, especially those who can hit those when entering play abilities. So Professor X, you get a free Confuse, it pops back into your hand, and maybe you can use it again next time. Beast will go grab you a resource. There's just a lot of combos that work super well with To Me My X-Men, and it's always that thrill of, okay, I've got 1 X-Men in these 7 cards. Am I gonna hit it? And it's almost that gamble. It's a little bit of a risk, but it has huge upside, and I have a ton of fun with To Me My X-Men. Going into Protection, this was the hardest one for me to pick because there are 2 clear winners, in my opinion. I think that there are 2 that can really compete for that. I'm going to mention the honorable mention, which is Repurpose, discard a tech, get plus to your stats equal to that text printed cost, and you get to ready your hero. This is really good, right? You can run so many techs, force field generators, get a +3 and a ready. Very, very, very good value coming out of that. But the winner is actually Flow Like Water, and that's just because I really enjoy that defense-based playstyle where every single time you play a defense event, you get to deal a damage. I love taking my turn on the villain's turn. So whenever that villain's attacking me, if I take no damage, I can remove threat, I can deal damage back with Flow Like Water, Electrostatic Armor, Unflappable, but I feel like a lot of those upgrades really got pushed to the next level to supplement those with events when Flow Like Water was put out, and now we have a good amount of damage that we can start throwing at that villain during their turn. And I think that that's super fun, and I really enjoy that Flow Like Water play style. The basic card, there are a number of good basic cards, and a lot of them are locked to different teams. So like Cerebro is locked to the mutants and stuff like that. And I wanted to pick something that worked well across all of the different teams, and I landed on, actually, I was trying to figure this out, and then once I remembered this card, it's like, oh yeah, easily, it's Symbiote Suit. Symbiote Suit is, fun. It embodies fun in the game, right? Because it's a 4-cost upgrade. It gives you plus 10 hit points, so you don't really have to worry about health that much anymore. You get plus 1 to all your hero stats, and then you also get plus 1 hand size. The only detriment here is that you have to draw 1 additional encounter card per turn. Now this gets better with more players because you're passing 25% extra cards out in a 4-player game versus 100% in a solo game, but the impact of like those stats are more are greater in a solo game. But this is it's just a cool card. It's a high risk, pretty high reward. You have to try and figure out when you can play it, because at some point you're going to be able to play it and outpace the villain before that hazard icon catches up to you, and it's your job to figure out when that is. It can be tough. I've played it and it has been the cause of some of my losses before, and I take those in stride. They're fun losses. At least that extra card, those extra hit points, it's a good time. So Symbiote Suit is, I think, a ton of fun with so many of the heroes. If you can get someone to ready and take advantage of those stats multiple times every single round, you're getting even more value out of this 4-cost card. Love Symbiote Suit. Alrighty, that's it. Those were my 5 favorite cards to build a deck around. I kind of cheated and put a couple of extra ones in there, but I like talking about the game. Anyways, let me know in the comments what some of your favorite cards to build a deck around. And if you have a deck list, throw that in the comments. I'd love to take a look at that. Anyways, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching the video. I appreciate y'all, and I'll see you around. Peace.